Okay, I'm back. Looks like I did not bring the top fin with me for some reason. I'll have to get onto that on a separate video. So I'm going to just show you the sections that had problems with the flaws and how to prepare them before you put together the model. Okay, so this is the front nose section. As you can see, here is the line of the mold. Very light line that just needs some basic sanding. Start at the 400 grit, work your way up to maybe a 2000 or higher, depends how smooth you want it. As you can see on this one, this was a pour point and there's a lot of bubbles on top. Okay, there's a big bubble over here, but this section actually disappears into the front, so you do not see it. Future ones will have less bubbles because as I said, this is the first one. There's a small bubble on top which can easily be repaired. Okay, the middle nose section is two parts, and the outer section molded very well. There's a couple of bubbles on top which I'll make my utmost to not have in the following in any following castings. On the inside where the lugs are, some of them have got bubbles on. This section has more on it. These sections aren't easy to get the bubbles out of because there we see, because the way it sits, because it fills up from this direction into the mold. Okay, but bubbles on this section doesn't matter because it disappears inside like such. Okay, these will have to be sanded down. This here doesn't need to be sanded down. On these edges over here, these are already smooth, they don't need to be sanded down unless you want to. The lugs that go into the main section, you can sand them down if you want, but it's not necessary. On the top section over here, you'll need to do some sanding. That's where there's an air spout on that section. Okay, so yeah, that's the middle section. The way to do this is put your epoxy along the edge, glue it together, use a clamp, but try and make sure that you stand for the first 5 minutes and make sure that these little sections are lined up, okay, in the front and the back. Okay, so basically that section slots into the rear section in these two gaps. So you see it's like a hook and a lug, so that goes in. Once it's glued together, it fits together better, and then basically down, and it will clip in. Okay, now this line must remain. So until you put your cockpit in, if you want, you can glue this piece on. You do not have to. It can be a loose section. So if you want to change your cockpits out for between the Euro and the Classic, but you see on the bottom over here the air bubbles, but I mean that fill up this section because that's where your front landing gear goes in. Okay, as for your rear section, like I said, it goes together as well. You can see over here there's a big bubble on each of these, over here as well. Okay, but these sections disappear just for lining it up. Like I said, put your glue along the edge and then glue it together. And on both of them, use filler. Use the body filler. I mean, I used the Tamaya putty on these sections because it's a very small gap. Okay, possibly I'll use the milliput on the bigger ones. But just fill it in and then just sand it down. Very easy. So you do the same on this one. Fill it up, sand it down. Okay. This, because it was the first mold, I was still learning the mold. It's got two big bubbles on the bottom, over there and over there. Okay, but that's easy to fill for me since it's the first casting, because it's on a flat section, so I can just smooth the whole thing down. It's luckily did not extend into the openings over here. Okay, I should have, when I poured the resin, tilted it this way to get the bubble out, so I know that for any future ones I make. But it came out pretty well. So when you do your filling, okay, fill up to there, Okay, you do not need to fill this section because there's 2 inserts that come into each of these sections, and then you'll do more filling up. I recommend first putting these pieces on before putting the filler on, because this section needs filler as well, and I'll show you that in the next section when I get to the smaller bits. Okay, so while holding this together, let's put it down. We look at the left and right pod. Okay, so like I mentioned before, I twisted the air hole and this broke off. I have a piece, I can glue it back in again. I'm going to redo this section with a thinner hole, so this should come out fine. We've got micro bubbles in some sections that can be easily repaired. Okay, that's on both of them. As you can see, that's where the filler or the air release was, filled from the section. Small bubbles. I'm going to try my best with anything in the future to get bubbles out. This one, when I made it this way in the putty, had a bubble on the inside. So I'll use a Dremel to get rid of that, but I'm going to redo this top section and make a new mold, so that bubble won't be there. This had a bubble over there as well, which it should also not have in any future ones. Other than that, it came out pretty nice. A solid heavy piece. Okay. The rear section of your cockpit was a flat mold, so it was on a flat surface with a silicone on top. You'll see there's a slight ridge around the edge. Okay, this needs to be sanded down flat, level, so that little ridge is down, and that's where you can use a sanding block. Just put on a sanding block backwards and forwards until it's smooth. Okay, and that should line up. These edges should line up for it to be right, and you see that the pod slots into this groove. This groove running along the edge. Okay, and then I explained already before, is your top wing goes on top of this platform. This platform slots into this section, so it goes in there and in there. Okay, and you can glue it in. Okay, it fits pretty well, and then put a blob of glue on there and glue this on top. Boom, there you go. And this fits loosely, you do not have to glue it in, it fits on top. Okay, as for this section, came out very well. I had a slight bubble over here which can be filled. This is the pouring area. I poured from the side. You see on the inside is slight bubbles that can be filled up. Nothing that's impossible to do. And the wing, well, I don't have the wing with me, but on the top tip had a small bubble on it, which is also easy to repair. And then your wings, let's move this away. You see the wings along the edge where it goes into the pods, because the pour happened in this direction. Okay, I had release spouts all along the edges, but it did for some reason get some bubbling over here as well. Okay, these sections don't need to be filled because that goes into the pod. But if you do have bubbles on yours, just put a blob of filler and just fill them up. Okay, these two for some reason on their tips had bubbles, which I'll try not to have in any future ones. They are repairable. This actually slips quite easily into your pod, and you do not need to glue them in if you do not want it. So that goes in very, very easily. Okay, very tight. If you want to transport your model around, you can have it with a loose ring and then just pop it off you go. Or you can glue it in and then not glue the pod on. So this pod goes into this gap and it clamps around this edge, as you can see. It's on, clamps on. So if you have both on, next section. quite heavy. You either glue your wings on or glue your pods on, else it's going to fall apart. But basically that holds together quite well. It's quite heavy. And then this here pops on top. And there's your half a Viper. And then your nose section clips in the front. Let's see if we can do it without the whole thing falling apart. Like so. There we go. And your pod goes on. Okay. Basically there's a Viper with the nose section going on there. As you can see, it's pretty big and it's not light. Okay, I feel it's making my arm tired. Okay, so in the next video I'll show you guys the all the little bits and pieces, where they go in and how to prepare them. And then I'm going to go away and I'm going to glue this together, glue the nose on, and then hopefully stick it together so it doesn't fall apart, and we can start getting an idea of how nice the model actually looks. So see you in the next one.